There's a lot of critics. Haters. No, I'm just kidding. How about this? Flopping to the ground. Do you see this? Raise your hand if you do not ever see this. Okay. Give everyone a clap. So, flopping to the floor. Okay, let me give you a dual function example here. The child is given an assignment. They flop to the ground. They're laughing, rolling around on the ground. You see this all the time. And then they're picked up. Their teacher's doing everything they can to be able to prompt them back to the seat, continue the task. But the teacher's laughing, and well, actually, let's talk about three functions. And there's the physical prompting, the kids getting just jollies out of it. What are the three functions? Escape. Tangible, because, wait, what's the tangible? The tangible might be, I don't know, the rolling on the ground could be kinesthetic or movement or I forget what the word is, could be automatic. But, what else? It's attention, because he's on the ground laughing and he's laughing at the teacher. And again, you're not going to know it from one instance. It takes frequent patterns of behavior to be able to identify those things. Make sense? So you're having to look at very frequent antecedents and consequences to figure that out. And there was another one, I think. Maybe not. So at this junction, we must determine the... Oh, yeah, she said it really loud on the ground. Did you get the one? That worked. So, raise your hand if you see this. Do you see kids get suspended and then you're not at the house, but you find out that they're playing the Xbox? Have you ever heard that happening? I know you're not there when it happens, but I see kids in some districts that coordinate their suspension, and then they're home on the same day and they're playing Xbox Live from their houses, like interactively. What's wrong with that picture? What's the function of that? Two. Probably two functions. Escape from school, intangible stimuli for probably playing the game, right? At this junction, we must determine the... So if we're going to come up with an intervention for that, if we know that that's the dual function, the answer is going to have to be, the treatment's going to have to be some way, and you have to determine the culture of your school and what's appropriate and what isn't. But the classroom may have to have, not necessarily video games, but there might need to be some tangible stimuli that are earned throughout the day and breaks from work for working, right? Otherwise, I know that we can't control everything that goes on at home, but there is one good thing that really eases my mind, especially when kids are severely affected with a disability. We know one thing is that kids will discriminate. This is the only thing that eases my mind sometimes, and I know you guys get stressed by this too, that you worry, okay, this is happening at home and this child's engaging in all these problems and the mom's or the father's not implementing any kind of discipline, therefore, it's spilling over and affecting us. Even the most severely affected kids I've learned, they discriminate in a good way. They learn at school, I can't get away with it. At home, I can. And thank goodness for that, because that's one of the only saving graces in some aspects. So don't feel that you're powerless because the parents are... The tougher part is if there's a situation where the kid's up all night and there's what's called an establishing operation, or they're not sleeping all night, and then you are dealt a hand of cards so that's a more distant antecedent, but things like that might require the child study team to gather together and say, have you tried these medical evaluations? Have you tried a sleep study? See your doctor. We're not recommending anything medical, we're just saying, the interdisciplinary team gather. Disengaged and head down. Raise your hand if you see this. Oh, gee, that's a big one. So, I had one kid, I had what might be considered a false positive result. I thought that he was putting his head down to avoid work, but what happened was, after observing enough instances and taking, again, antecedents, what happened right before it, and what happens after it, it wasn't the work and the escape that was the reinforcer. The antecedent was nothing was going on and nobody was calling on him and he was was just sitting in the back of the room bored, getting no attention. And the consequence was that the teacher aide would come over and kind of prompt them, come on, you put your head up, it's a good day today, you're gonna do great, you know, and provide a lot of attention. So what's the function there? In that particular case, it may be attention. Again, not every situation is that clear. There's multiple dual functions at times. So.